Now, in order to simplify this fraction, what we've got to do is put it all over the same common denominator. Now, I notice that 3x squared minus 3, though, factorizes. It's got a common factor of 3. So that's the first thing that I would want to do, and that is to say that this is identical to, well, we've got x plus 1 on the top here for the first term, and we can pull out the 3 then and have 3 bracket x squared minus 1. Then just write in the second fraction here, 1 all over 3x plus 1. Now, x squared minus 1 factorizes again. This is often called the difference of two squares. This is the square of x, and the 1 is the square of 1. So we can write this out then as x plus 1 all divided by, we've got the 3 here, and then x squared minus 1 factorizes to x plus 1 multiplied by x minus 1. The difference of two squares then. Then we have the second term, minus 1 all over 3x plus 1. Now, at this stage, I notice that if I imagine that in brackets at the top, we've got one factor here, and we've got another factor here of x plus 1. So we've got a common factor on both the top and the bottom, so that can cancel out. Put some 1s there, okay? And so what we have then is that this is identical then to 1 all over 3 bracket x minus 1 minus 1 over the 3x plus 1. So we've simplified this first fraction as far as possible, and now we're in a position to put this over a common denominator, turn both of these fractions into a common fraction, and that denominator is going to be the 3 and x minus 1 and the 3x plus 1. Now when we look at the first fraction here, let's just show you what I mean. When we look at the first fraction here, 1 over 3 bracket x minus 1, what do we need to do to this fraction in order to make it have this denominator? Well, you can see we've got a 3 times x minus 1 here. What we need to do is times by another 3x plus 1. So if I was to multiply this by 3x plus 1, as long as I multiply the bottom by 3x plus 1 and do the same to the top, then this is essentially 1, and so the fraction stays the same as 1 over 3 lots of x minus 1. So I can see that this fraction is just going to be 1 times 3x plus 1. Okay? Now we come on to this fraction here. Similarly, when I've got 1 over 3x plus 1, what do I need to multiply top and bottom by in order to get this denominator? Well, it's going to be 3 times bracket x minus 1. 3 times bracket x minus 1. So I need to do the same to the top. And then it's the same fraction. So all I've got to do then is times the bottom here by 3 bracket x minus 1, as long as I times the top by it. So we have minus 3 bracket x minus 1. Okay, all I need to do now is just expand the brackets, and we've got 3x plus 1 for the first bracket, and then we've got minus 3x plus 3. And all of that is divided by the denominator here, which we don't want to expand, so we just leave that in the brackets. Tidy up the top. What have we got? The 3x take away 3x, well that's nothing, and 1 add 3, which is 4. So we have 4 all over, and then 3 bracket x minus 1 and 3x plus 1. Okay, well that brings us to the end then of this question.